Hey everyone, Rob from the ProWresBlog here, www.prowresblog.blogspot.com. Hey, we're here with ProWresBlog episode 2, and we're going to cover 4 matches today. These matches are from Big Japan, 7/13/2016, Masashi Takeda versus Kenji Fukimoto in a scissors match. From Big Japan, January 2nd, 2017, just happened a week or so ago, Strong BJ versus the Twin Towers, and no, it's not Akeem and the Big Boss Man. Battlarts, March 14th, 2001, Ryuji Hijikata versus Takeshi. And All Japan, December 13th, 1975, The Destroyer versus Don Leo Jonathan. I just reviewed the scissors match, so we'll do that first. Yeah, so this was the scissors death match. Also had gusset plates in it, chairs, and light tubes, of course, because you can't do a death match in Japan without light tubes. I've never seen Fukimoto before, and I wasn't really impressed here. He looks just along the type of Jackie Nakazawa and some of the other lesser Big Japan guys. Doesn't seem to have a whole lot of real wrestling ability or anything, but seems to mostly focus on the stunts. And Masashi Takeda, he's actually a really good wrestler. He goes a little overboard in the stunts too sometimes, and really, the key to a great death match isn't the violence. I mean, the big spots and the blood are cool and all, and I think it's an important part sometimes. But the real key to having a great death match is to having a good match first and then just adding the death match stuff onto it. That's how you take a death match from, just a death match to an actual great match. Unfortunately, we didn't really see any of that here, and I wasn't really expecting it. Like I said, especially with freedoms in a match like this, you really know what you're getting into. I thought they could have did a better job because there was actually almost no pro wrestling whatsoever in this. It was just kind of spot after spot, and go into the next big stunt where someone gets hurt. So I thought that part kind of sucked, and I think they could have did a lot more with it. But yeah, the highlights here, they kept rubbing the gusset plates into each other, and if you don't know about gusset plates, they're like used on bridges apparently to connect and to help stabilize, and these things are sharp. These every match I've seen this in, they rip everybody to pieces, and this was no different here. Both these guys blood all over the place, and they just pushed the gusset plates into each other, and it was pretty nasty and violent. The big highlights here. What's his face? Fukimoto grabbed 2 beers from the start, and I'm wondering, what is he doing with these beers? Well, he threw one at Takeda, and they smacked each other in the head with beer. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, that's a darn good waste of beer, and you're darn right. I don't actually drink, believe it or not, but yeah, kind of a waste of beer, but a cool spot. I think Stone Cold would approve. Lots of gusset plate spots. They did a couple spots where they pushed the scissors into each other. The scissors were kind of the big thing here, and they didn't really work out as I thought they would. The thing is, they're really bulky, so they're not going into someone. You know what I mean? It's if they're going into someone's going to the hospital immediately. They're just too big to really stick and be visual, so they kind of had to use it more of a spike or something, and it was a little disappointing. Like it was a cool idea, and it probably should have worked, but it didn't, and it might be better that it didn't. But that was mostly the focus here. They body slammed each other on them, and the finisher came when Takeda did his. He does like a Sting Scorpion DDT, if you know what that looks like. Only he lifts the guy up, and he did it right onto the scissors, and that was the finisher here. And it looked okay, but they're just not visually as cool as some of the other spots that they have. And I would say it's probably my least favorite, next to the gusset plates, the yakitori sticks that they use sometimes, the thumbtacks, and some of the other ones. And besides that, just a couple of people throwing each other on gusset plates. They had a board of gusset plates, and Fukimoto actually threw it at Takeda, which I thought was pretty cool. And they had another really nice spot where Fukimoto grabbed the board and he was laying on his back, and Takeda was going to do like a senton onto him. Well, Fukimoto turned it around. He turned it around so the gusset plates were facing Takeda when he landed, and Takeda basically just powerbombed himself on the gusset plates. Overall, I didn't even bother rating the match because it really wasn't pro wrestling, and the rating I would have gave it wasn't going to be good anyway. But I don't really recommend it unless you just want to see the stunt show part, and I mean, you'll probably be happy if you see that part. Next up is Takeshi Ono versus Ryuji Hijikata. I've always wanted to see a Takeshi Ono match. I've never seen one of those before. This was from Battlarts, and Battlarts never really caught on that much, unfortunately. Even though it's totally great wrestling. They do shoot style, and they do a really good job of it. They stiff each other, they do hard shots, and it's pretty much great pro wrestling. The quality was really bad here. If you check my blog, where you'll see the pics and gifs of this, it made it a little bit tough, but this was really, really good. Ono and Hijikata went at it from the beginning, and Ono actually got attacked and then got sent into the railings, and I enjoyed that. Ono has some of the best punches and strikes I've ever seen. I don't know if it's the gloves, because he's wearing gloves he actually can hit people for real, or because he's so thin that it doesn't really hurt anyway. But yeah, his strikes are absolutely awesome. Like, they look like legit strikes, and they probably do hurt. And I could watch that guy kick and punch people all day. He's one of the best at it, and he did lots of that here. Just lots of kicks and punches all over the place. The only bad thing about him, besides being super thin, is that his selling is not very good at all. Like, he'll sell for a little bit and just completely ignore it and go back to being cocky. And, I mean, I think selling is a very important part of the pro wrestling match, and he didn't really do a great job of it here, which hurt it. And I think the match kind of went on a little bit longer than it needed to. Like, it was good and strong. I just think if they just would have sprinted it out for like 5 or 7 minutes total, it would have been great. Big highlights here were just lots of potatoes and lots of stiff strikes being done, and Hijikata hit one of the best brainbusters I've ever seen. Did a fisherman brainbuster, and because Ono's so small, he just literally just picked him up and dropped him right on his head. Ono picked up the win here with a punch and kick combo, and ended up finishing it with a left high kick. I gave his 3.5 stars. I really recommend everyone check it out because this was good pro wrestling. This is the kind of stuff I love. I love to see people making it look real. I love to see the stiff shots, and I think everyone could appreciate this. Lots of bombs being thrown here. Next up is from All Japan Pro Wrestling, December 13th, 1975, The Destroyer versus Don Leo Jonathan. The Japanese announcers, they call the Destroyer, he's the Destroyer. It's pretty awesome. You got to hear that. Don Leo Jonathan is just a frickin' man's man worker. I love this guy. He's so big but he can move around like a light guy, and he just looks like a pro wrestler, and I like that. And I've actually never seen much of the Destroyer, but I know he's basically like one of the top technicians ever, and he was a really great wrestler and a huge star in Japan. This was from the 70s, so they worked a different style, and it was really great. They worked on the match the whole time. They worked holds the whole time, I should say. The Destroyer spent most of the match trying to escape a full Nelson, and he eventually did so. They worked headlocks on each other, really simple and basic stuff, and it just worked, man. No one got hurt. They still had a good match. They didn't do anything a normal person couldn't do, and I can definitely appreciate that kind of pro wrestling, especially in a world where Okada and Omega are killing each other and still not even finishing the match. Lots of cool stuff here. There was a nice Destroyer escape. He was put in a full Nelson, and he went down to get out of it, and Don ended up grabbing him in like a wheelbarrow position, and he picked him right back up and put him right back in. We got to see the very rare spinning full Nelson, which you rarely ever see. Only Ken Patera pretty much did that, and Don Leo got to do that here. Destroyer tried to escape through the side headlocks, and he'd kind of just like jump along and swing with it, and I'd never seen that before, and I really appreciate that. I thought that was great. They both did some kip ups, which were really cool in like 1999 level spots, and I like that. And the finish came because this is 1970s Japan, and while we have all the cool wrestlers, ain't no one gonna job. So Don Leo had him in like an airplane spin type of position. They both fell over the top rope, and they ended up both getting counted out on the floor. And the part I kind of did like was they both were pulling each other out from getting back in the ring. So Destroyer got up there, Don pulled him out, and Don got up there, and Destroyer turned the favor, and ended up being a double count out. But this was great pro wrestling, man. I mean, just classical, easy pro wrestling. Nobody got hurt. They managed to entertain and keep it simple, and it looked realistic the whole time. You know, they fought over moves, they fought for leverage, and it wasn't just, hey, your move, my move. It was just, you know, it was a battle. It was a wrestling match, and I like that. I gave us 4 stars. It's going to be a lot slower than anything else you're going to see, but I think it is really good pro wrestling, and I think it'll make you appreciate some of the stuff we do see. And yeah, just All Japan, man. Whew, classic All Japan, some good stuff. And the last match of the day is what is currently now my match of the year. It's from Big Japan Pro Wrestling, January 2nd, 2017. The Twin Towers of Shuji Ishikawa and Kohei Sato versus Strong BJ, Daisuke Sekimoto, and Yuji Okabayashi. Oh, man, I love Okabayashi. I've loved him from the second I saw him. This dude is like a mini Brock Lesnar, and he's just a total beast. Man, this match was just great man's man pro wrestling. They freaking stiffed each other. They did, you know, they did the suplexes. They did the lariats. This was just all stiff all the time. You know, no playing around here. And, you know, big boy pro wrestling, man. That's what I'm all about right now. And Sekimoto sold so well. Okabayashi sold so well. And, I mean, just when I started looking at it, like, I couldn't find anything really wrong with this match. I mean, they have a spot where one of them goes, where one is Strong BJ goes for the German suplex, and the other one basically German suplex him on top of it. So it's kind of a dumb spot. I don't love it, but you know it still's pretty cool, and you know I'm not gonna rip the match just because of that. But that was one of the downfalls, and I don't know. I thought they could have did a little bit more, maybe had a bigger finishing stretch, but overall, this was absolutely awesome. This was one of the best matches of the year. I had to give it 5 stars because overall, just the good very much overshadowed the bad. And the bad really wasn't much but nitpicks anyway. And, man, go check it out. This was great stuff. Some of the big highlights here, just tons of chop battles and strike battles that you all need to see. Those were great. And looking through it, because you could see all the pics and gifs at ProWresBlog. You don't even need to go see the match. Some good lariats from Okabayashi. Okabayashi had Ishikawa up in the torture rack position, and he actually threw him onto Sato, which I'd never seen before and really liked. You know, just there was a deadlift vertical suplex from Sekimoto. He picked Sato pretty much right off the ground, and he vertical suplexed him. That dude's a freaking beast. That's insane strength right there, and I love that. I also like the Twin Towers just did some tag team tandem forearm shots. I appreciate it. Real simple stuff. It looks like it hurts, and I always like sandwich moves, like when someone gets splashed together or hits like a hero sandwich like we saw in the CWF review I did also on ProWresBlog. I just appreciate that kind of clubbering and stuff. Demolition were the masters at it. It never gets old. It's believable, and it's real easy to do. Sekimoto, near the end, he took a headbutt from Ishikawa, and he actually bled hard way. It happened right at the finish, which is a shame, because if they would have kept the blood going, like this would have even went to another level. And yeah, he got busted open hard way, blood all over his face, but it happened pretty much right as he finished him, and he hit a deadlift German to win the match. Great match. It lasted 21 minutes, 51 seconds. Big boy pro wrestling, man. Great stuff. Really recommend it. And it is online, and you can see all the pics and gifs of it at my blog. I gave it 5 stars. One of the best matches of the year, and way better than Okada Omega. Not even a question. All right, guys. Hey, that's going to wrap it up for ProWresBlog episode 2 here. You know, we'll go check out some more stuff as it comes along. And if you want to see all the pics and gifs of all the matches here, you feel free to do so at www.prowresblog.blogspot.com. And pretty much all the matches here were taken from YouTube or our YouTube. It's RU, so like the letter RU. And yeah, good stuff. Go check it out, man. Thanks for listening, and www.ProWresBlog.blogspot.com. Thank you guys. Have a great day.